Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we're looking at the Polestar 4. This is Polestar's newest SUV, and today I'd like to talk about a few things specifically. This is one of the top EVs, the top SUV, I would say, or one of the top SUVs from the Shanghai Auto Show 2023. Now, based on all the information I've gathered about this vehicle, I can consider this vehicle to perhaps be the one of the best SUVs, if not the perfect SUV, especially for Polestar as a company. In many electric vehicle market, there's one consistent vehicle that is outselling almost everything, and that, ladies and gents, is the Tesla Model Y. That's an SUV, a mid-size, a small SUV. And that is quite similar to the Polestar 4 in fact. I've done some recent research and analysis. People tend to think that the Polestar 4 does not look like an SUV, and I'll admit, it looks more like a sedan. However, it's got the size of an SUV, and that's what matters, the size. It really does have the size of an SUV. I've compared this vehicle towards the Porsche Macan, which is actually the direct competitor for this vehicle. The Porsche Macan is the direct competitor. And many people, including myself, would admit that the Porsche Macan looks like an SUV. Now, I've compared the sizes of these vehicles. This is the Porsche Macan, it looks like an SUV. This is the Polestar 4 SUV, but it doesn't look like an SUV. However, let's take a deeper look. The overall length for the Polestar 4 is 4,839 millimeters. Now, the overall Macan's length is 4,726 millimeters. So the Polestar 4 is a longer vehicle. Now, what about width? That matters a lot. The Polestar also has a larger width. It's 2,139 millimeters, while on the Porsche Macan, it's 2,097 millimeters. So once again, the Polestar has a wider width. The wheelbase of these vehicles. The Polestar wins the wheelbase race once again. For the Polestar, it's 2,999 millimeters, almost 3,000. For the Porsche Macan, it's 2,807 millimeters. So in actuality, the Polestar 4 is a bigger vehicle than the Porsche Macan, which is wild. It doesn't look like it. And one of the reasons is because of the design. The design is very much different. And this was no accident. This was by design. This is on purpose. Polestar designed this vehicle for a specific purpose. And it's hard to believe that it's actually bigger than this vehicle, bigger than the Macan. The largest difference, which is quite obvious, is the height of this vehicle. And obviously, this vehicle is built to look more like an SUV, but the height of this vehicle really does says the difference. It has a higher height. That's obvious. But in terms of cargo room, in terms of passengers room, the Polestar 4 is actually just as big, if not bigger, than the Porsche Macan. Very impressive. I happen to believe that this vehicle will do very well for Polestar for multiple reasons. The price is incredible. The pricing of this vehicle in the UK, I believe, is just around 55 to 60,000 pounds. While I believe the pricing for the Polestar 3 SUV, the big size SUV, is around 80,000 pounds. That's where it's starting at least. So that's very interesting to say the least. But this is Polestar's fastest vehicle thus far. Keep in mind that this vehicle is coming with a pack of technology. I'm not worried about this vehicle losing money when it's sold. Tesla is not worried about their vehicles losing money. Polestar shouldn't be worried. And this is because the vehicles are designed to make money over time. I've said this many times before. The Polestar vehicles are designed to make money over time. They will lose money on the initial purchase, but they will make that money on return, on over-the-air updates, and for paid upgrades of the vehicle. This is a similar strategy to what Tesla is doing. Tesla has an abundance of vehicle, and what they're doing is just selling these vehicles as much as possible just to get them in the hands of customers. Then what Tesla realizes is that they can sell other services such as self-driving features, such as performance upgrades, range upgrades. So over the course of owning the car, you will actually spend more on the car, and the company understands this, and they'll rather you to spend that money with them than a competitor. So that's why Tesla is selling their vehicles at a discount right now. And it also creates an insane amount of demand. And I do believe that Polestar is taking a similar strategy because I remember, I believe it was last year, the Polestar 2 got a significant over-the-air update, and that was about 2000 or 1200 for the upgrade. And it was a minor update to the performance and to the battery pack and to the range. But nevertheless, small upgrades like this can generate a lot of profit for the company. The more vehicles they have on the road, the more updates they can provide for customers, and the more money they can earn and generate through just having the car already being sold to the customer and the customer paying more for additional features. Now let's talk about the rear view camera. Now let's talk about the new rear view camera on this vehicle. I've seen some videos from Polestar and it looks absolutely incredible. In fact, I made a post about this exact thing. This is a regular car. Viewing through a regular car, this is what you can see sometimes. Sometimes you can see a little bit more depending on the vehicle, but there's still those blind spots. However, with the Polestar new camera system, it opens up these blind spots and you can see a much wider field of view. So cars in the opposite lanes, you can still see those cars and they're not necessarily in your blind spot. Now I've heard people saying, what if the cameras get damaged? Well, the car also has sensors. I believe the car is coming with 12 cameras, 12 sensors, and one LiDAR, I think. Very impressive what Polestar is doing. They're packing a ton of technology into this car. At purchase price, this car can go from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 3.8 seconds. Now, over the course of owning this car, Polestar will release new updates and new upgrades that you can pay for to make this car go faster. Eventually, this car should be able to accomplish 0 to 62 miles per hour in perhaps less than 3 seconds because of over-the-air updates. Over-the-air updates will be very successful for Polestar. And I just have to say, I've seen these videos posted on Twitter. I had to repost them because they look impeccable, incredible. I think Polestar will end up selling a lot of these vehicles. And this is primary evidence to the fact that you can see that the Tesla Model Y is selling at an incredible rate. And it's not necessarily a cheap vehicle. It is an SUV. It is more expensive than the Tesla Model 3. So it is proven that there is a market for this vehicle. So this vehicle is going to sell a ton. And I think these vehicles will start selling in China in Q3 this year. Absolutely incredible. So naturally, we've got a lot to look forward to. These vehicles will also start selling in other markets in Q1 or Q2 of next year, which is 2024. And it's a similar thing with the Polestar 3. The Polestar 3 will start its first deliveries in Q4 of this year. So Polestar has two new vehicles they're bringing to the market in Q4 this year, the Polestar 3 and the Polestar 4. Now, I'll admit, this release of this vehicle does seem a little bit rushed. There wasn't a huge presentation. Polestar did upload a video on their YouTube channel, and it was a small presentation just talking about the car just a little bit. Audio was not that good though, I must admit. But this is the vehicle compared to the size of a relatively tall human being. And I must say, it really does depend on the angle you're looking at this vehicle from that determines if this vehicle looks like an SUV or not. I've had people telling me that this vehicle interior looks like a Model S. I've had to defend Polestar and just say, I don't think so. This is what a Model S looks like, especially a modern Model S right now. This is what it looks like. This is what the Polestar 4 looks like. It is vastly different. The obvious thing is that they both have a landscape display, but that is nothing new to vehicles. That is the obvious steps that a lot of vehicles are going through. I don't think these vehicles look the same. I think they have slight similarities, but they certainly do not look the same. The dashboard of the Tesla looks vastly different because the display is built into the dashboard, while on the Polestar, it's got a 10-inch display just incubated within the dashboard, but it's not built in within. So the design language is vastly different. The ambient lighting set out and how it looks is different. The center console looks different as well. The wireless charging for this vehicle, the phone wireless charging are set up different in these vehicles. Obviously, there are the obvious similarities, but I don't think these vehicles look the same. I really don't. It's baffling to me because this Polestar vehicle looks vastly different from other Polestar vehicles and from Tesla as well. Like I said, there's obviously the obvious similarities like the landscape display. That's the obvious direction that every company should be going for. It's making me love this vehicle quite a lot. My top two vehicles right now that I'd like to get, I actually posted about this last night. That is the Land Rover Defender 120 and the Polestar 4 SUV. I like the Polestar 6 Roadster as well. I actually love that car. I love the Polestar 5 as well. I love the Polestar 3 as well, the Polestar 2, but the Polestar 4, it's captivating me lately. This is what the interior of this vehicle will look like. This is what the interior will look like. It looks impeccable. I've seen the seats animation. I've seen the rear seats animation, how adjustable it can be. This vehicle is like a luxurious cinema on wheels, and that's what I tweeted today because it is true. This is an impeccable vehicle. This is another view of the vehicle in a different color, and it's looking more like an SUV, of course. And you know, from this perspective, it looks like the Polestar 3, but in a baby format, just like a little sibling. That's what it looks like. Sometimes it doesn't really look like an SUV, but interior looks like an SUV. The exterior perhaps don't look like an SUV. At least from the rear, it does look like an SUV, but from the front, maybe not. But come on, you cannot admit the interior cabin space looks huge on videos that I've seen. It looks immense. It looks impeccable. It looks inviting. It looks exciting. It looks roomy. It looks comfy, comfortable. The seats are impeccable as well. Like this vehicle looks like a sports vehicle, but a sports utility family SUV, like a small family SUV vehicle. It's vastly different from anything you can find on the market right now. And that's what people want. Something completely different. Not everyone's going to want a Tesla. Not everyone's going to want a Mercedes or a BMW. Some people are going to want something a little bit more rare and different. That, ladies and gents, is the Polestar 4. This vehicle will sell insane because it's got the body of a sedan and it's got the space of an SUV. Seriously, absolutely impeccable. I can't wait to see this vehicle in person. I can't wait to test drive this vehicle in person. The ambient light system on this vehicle is said to be quite impeccable as well. And obviously we got the logo, the Polestar logo at the top right there, illuminating on the open glass roof. Really incredible stuff from Polestar. I feel like they really are showing their full potential with this vehicle. I feel like the company has said to themselves, listen, let's stop holding back and let's just do something wild. I love the seats as well. They've got this sporty identity while at the same time keeping it classy and luxurious. And like I said, look at this vehicle from the top down view. Vastly different from what a Tesla interior looks like. So I don't see how people can say they look the same. There might be a few similarities, vastly different identity. But I've written some new articles on the blog. Check them out. Subscribe to our newsletter. We're almost at 50 subscribers on our newsletter. Let's continue going. I've written some more stuff about the Polestar 4 SUV. Really impeccable stuff. I've written about the Xpeng G6, which is really impeccable because I think this car could be a serious competitor for the Model Y and for the Polestar 4 as well because this car looks impeccable. It looks good. I've written about other vehicles as well. Feel free to go check it out. And the BYD Seagull. But yes, ladies and gents, I have multiple reasons to believe why the Polestar 4 will be an impeccable vehicle for Polestar. And that is it for this video. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next one.